Morning, guys. We are a couple hours into London session. Um, I'm just going to go over a few things. So dollar, we are still within this kind of range point. Um, I said that I wanted to see if price can come back down and test these highs or this area. We did. We kind of just wicked below it, and then we did actually start to come back up. This is a little bit of our shift. So now I really want to see if this supply is going to get invalidated. I do think we potentially could have that pop up one more time. Equally, we could just head back down. So today, I am gonna wait and see kind of what happens with those. What we can do is we can map out this high, map out this low, and kind of see where price is wanting to go from here. At this point, though, nothing really that amazing. Just as last time I did a video. So we'll see. We'll see what happens going into today. AUD USD, currently in a position at break even at the moment. So let's break this down. So I did have a order in this zone, and that was technically still valid. We had our breaker structure. This is our mitigations. Maybe not so much because of this low. This low wasn't really looking like it did anything of significance, but we were shifting structures, so that is why I was going off. I did get liquidated at this zone. That's fine. Price then broke up. We then had that breaker structure. So you could have, in real or reality, been looking for this whole candle within here. But for me personally, I don't really fuck with having a 38 to 40 pip stop loss. I mean, you can do, there's literally nothing wrong with that. I personally just don't like it in my trading plan. So I broke mine down. So we took the high to the low, mapped out 50%. So you can see 50% is here. Dropping it down on 30-minute time frame, you can see that this was our last selling volume before that big buy. And yes, the sells did actually start from here, but this is technically still our imbalance. So if I delete this, you can see that my 786, this red line, that fib, was lining up really, really, really nicely with this zone that was basically like perfect. So for me, this was a little bit more of a confirmation idea. So entries were in here that came into yesterday. From the entry yesterday, we kind of had a bit of a pull up. We did come in and test the zone, price came back down, and then we did actually started going in from last night, going into Asian, kind of have that bit more of a push move up. Now I'm break even on this, so whatever happens, happens now. My first targets are in fact going to be this high. I do want to see if we can run that high out just because of structure. I also do want to see if potentially price could run a little bit higher. So if we're really looking at the structure, we have our low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So now in the old reality, I am looking for that kind of lower high to get formed anywhere potentially into this zone. Why did I have it here? Let me check. I think it was just because of the daily. Yeah, so the daily swing, kind of 50% of the zone, which is what I'm looking at, which was that daily zone. I could potentially see a run into that, or I could potentially see just a run into this 50% again. So even potentially into here. I did say this zone because on the daily, you can see from this massive kind of swing, oops, from this daily swing, 50% of this swing lines up with this daily buy to sell, and you can see our EMAs are kind of running across with this. So this is when I would like to see kind of price come up and roll over. This be the when the EMAs kind of come down alongside with it. So potentially going into today or to next week, we could potentially see a little bit of that move. Now, I have targeted or I have mapped out my 78500, no, 68500, a nice major half point. If you guys don't know about psychological levels, then I'd probably go and check that out. I'm looking at this zone or potentially high because we do have some imbalance, some liquidity in the form of highs in here. Nothing was really taken in this high in here. So that's what I am looking for. obviously first point of interest is going to be this zone. If we then do invalidate that, that is going to be my second zone and probably my final target, just until we get up and around here. Potentially, maybe we could only just come to here and then head lower. But in the grand scheme of things, we could either do something like this, or we could maybe pop this high and start heading down. Even though we have liquidated here, we do have some lows in here, which I do want to see if they could get ran also. So it all kind of really depends on what the dollar is doing. So this is my first trade of the whole week, actually. Yesterday, actually, no, tell a lie, I had a euro pound and an AU trade. So my AU trade here, that was 0.5% loss. That's fine. And then I currently up more than 0.5% on this trade at the moment. Anyway, we are now currently running about 1 to 2. First targets are going to be 1 to 3.5. Third targets or second target is going to be a 1 to 4, and then that final one is going to be a 1 to 6. But so far, floating 2%, so already up 1.5% from what I was down originally on this position. So as long as you just kind of sit and wait for your play, for your ideas and stuff to play out, literally really just sitting on your hands actually does pay. Believe me when I say that. So that's AU, euro pound. Euro pound, looking at basic structure, you can see we have a high, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. I don't really class this much as a swing point. This is just an intermediate shift of structure. Yes, we did kind of break below it, but I really would have wanted to have seen a bit, or at least a 50% pullback for this to actually be valid. So for me, I'm actually really classing this as my swing now. On the daily, we do have this kind of structure, so that could be for that follow-up and that continuation. I'm not going to anticipate a break of structure because I've done that in the past and it basically never really works. So always be waiting for your confirmation breaks of structure. So far, I'm just going to be going off intermediate shifts and momentum of structure. So we have had a zone which has actually been coming and tested right up into this final wick. And one thing that I don't really like to see is we have now created equal highs for price to potentially run. That does not mean that we could not get kind of a sell to buy movement. That could be on the cards, or we could actually just start heading south a little bit, all depending on what the pound and what the euro is going to be doing. This is looking like it's selling for the moment, but we do have don't kind of let this fool you. We do have a lot of liquidity in here. We got a lot of highs in kind of like a trend line, so there's going to be a lot of people selling above all of these. So I would not even be surprised if we kind of did something like this. So just keep your eyes out. I am looking for potential sells off this zone. This is a really nice zone. You can see we mitigated, price came back up, we broke structures. So now I'm just really looking for this zone to be hit again and have that continuations. But until price does come back up into this zone, I am just going to sit and wait on my hands. US 30 had some nice trades. Overall, I was looking for this 30-minute to get hit. We actually hit that last night. You can see price is actually coming back up slightly now. I am break even on this, so I do potentially think we could see some dollar weakness today, which potentially means US 30 strength. But going into yesterday's session, we had excuse me, we had, I think it was off an hourly zone. Yeah, so we had a shift in structure here. I was looking for this hourly zone, see if we were going to get any reactions from that. We did. We came into this zone, price slowly kind of coming back up. You can see we had shift of momentum here, looking for this zone to be tested. Price then started breaking back up higher. Price came then back down into a really nice 5-minute zone. So you can see here, this is our last 5-minute zone, which kind of caused that shift in momentum. And if we do look, this is 255, so just after New York opened. You can see we had this test, price then broke higher, and now we're just looking for that zone that caused that. And you can see this was that last 5-minute zone. We did have a small test here, which is why I got in on. Price then come back down, hit the same entry and continuations all the way back up into our final 30-minute zone in here. This is our 30-minute zone because you can see the structure. I was just looking for a move and run. Now I am going to be calling out a big call, but I do think we could probably get the low of like 31.71 taken out, maybe. Just even going on the daily, I do want to see if this zone could get met. EMAs are crossing at this current point. We can, do you know, I don't like to use the wicks too much. So what I like to do is do my line chart, because that showed me the actual closed price of an area. So you can see I'm kind of anywhere waiting within this 50% zone to get actually met, which is why I think dollar could potentially go a bit stronger into here and then actually come back down. So if you guys are in a position on this that I called out, I'd probably be whacking it to break even or potentially closing it, just to kind of see what happens. So that is what I'm going to be looking for so far for the week going ahead. Do want to see if we could potentially get a run of this, and then maybe some short continuations going down into this month, just because I do think that we could have a pretty bearish month going into March, and we do have the second quarter coming up in April. So kind of let's see what happens. So I'm really expecting EMAs to kind of just be coming down and price kind of just roll over from here. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens going in for the beginning of the month. So I'm going to really wait for today's closure, and then we shall continue. NAS 100 as well. I was looking for a test of this 4-hourly. Why was I looking for that test? Because we had a really, really nice distribution within this zone. We had a test of this wick that came pretty much right to the 50%. 50% of an order or supply demand zone is where most of the orders are actually going to be stored. So you can see we had this breaker structure, price then came back up. We tested, got a really, really nice entry here, and we broke down and continued, breaks of structure and breaks of structure. So now we haven't really had anything run in this low, which is why I was expecting price to come back up and then head back down. This triggered last night. I did actually close my position in and about here, just because this wasn't really looking too clean for me. But if you are in a position here, that's fine, as long as you have risk, your correct risk that you should be risking, then it does not matter if you win or lose. Losing is a part of trading, and as long as, like, whether you win or lose, as long as you follow your plan, it really doesn't matter, honestly. Like, taking a loss is still good trading if you're following all of your plans and all of your risk management. Gold, I'm not actually in this. I just did want to see kind of what was going to play out. I do think we could potentially run higher into gold, potentially into areas like so. A lot of manipulation happened around here, but I am really waiting to see if we could get these lows ran. So potentially when everything else dies off, I'm pretty sure this is going to do the same. I am looking for this to get ran, because on the lower time frames, you can see we swept this low, but we did not sweep this low going into London 8 a.m. So I do want to see this London low get ran. That is going to be nice to see. Obviously, so far price is just pushing up, as is everything else, which is completely fine to see. So this is going to be a major point on gold to kind of really see what does happen. But for the moment, that's literally all I have. We'll just run through it again. Dollar, AU, Euro pound, US 30, NAS, and gold. So if you guys got any questions, please let me know. If you guys do want me to go over any pairs as well, please do let me know. Feel free to fire away and I will help you as much as I can. All right, guys.